Tea, the leaf that conquered the world. A drink that accompanies humans from the earliest morning light to the quiet of late evenings, from grand palaces to humble homes, from England to Japan. One of the most widely consumed beverages on earth, tea is also a vessel of history, culture, and ritual. Every sip is more than flavor. It is a journey through time and space, an echo of centuries of tradition, trade, and cultural exchange. The story of tea weaves together legend, commerce, and customs across the ages. The first leaves discovered as a drink came from the mountainous regions of China. It is said that Emperor Shennong, over 4,000 years ago, accidentally discovered the taste and effect of leaves that fell into boiling water. Legend has it that the brewed leaves brought refreshment, clarity of mind, and renewed energy. Thus, the magic of tea was born. From China, tea gradually traveled north and west, reaching Japan, where the tea ceremony emerged, a ritual of meditation, precision, and harmony. In medieval Europe, tea became a luxury, a symbol of status and wealth. Transported along the Silk Road or by Dutch and Portuguese traders across the seas. Tea is not just a beverage. It has been a tool of politics and economics. Wars over control of tea, colonial plantations in India, Ceylon, and Africa show how a simple leaf could shape nations. Trade routes, ports, and empires were built around it. And crises like the famous Boston Tea Party reveal that tea could alter the course of history. The diversity of tea types and brewing methods has also made it a symbol of local culture. Green, black, white, oolong, or pu'er, each leaf tells its own story, shaped by its region, harvesting, and processing techniques, as well as by the customs surrounding its consumption. In Japan, matcha leaves are a ritual, a form of meditation. In England, black tea with milk is a daily habit. In Morocco, mint tea combines hospitality with tradition. Tea, in the end, is more than a drink. It is a leaf that connects people, cultures, and time itself, offering a moment of reflection, a taste of history, and a bridge across centuries with every cup. Tea, at first glance, may seem like a single, simple leaf, but it holds within it an extraordinary diversity. The foundation of this variety lies in two primary cultivars of the Camellia sinensis plant. The first, sinensis, comes from China. It is a shrub with relatively small leaves, responsible for the more delicate flavors and subtle aromas that make it perfect for green, white, and oolong teas. Sinensis leaves grow slowly, often in higher mountain regions, which enhances their density and concentration of aromatic compounds. These teas are celebrated for their freshness, gentle sweetness, and elegant astringency, qualities that tea connoisseurs particularly appreciate. The second cultivar, Asamaka, hails from the Assam region of India. Its leaves are larger, thicker, and grow faster, producing stronger, more robust brews. Asamaka is the backbone of intense black teas, often found in breakfast blends like the classic English breakfast. A cup brewed from Asamaka leaves is full-bodied, dark, and rich, with a characteristic sweet aroma that lingers long on the palate. Although both cultivars belong to the same species, they differ not only in leaf size and growth rate but also in their chemical makeup, from caffeine content to polyphenols and essential oils. These differences determine whether a tea will be a gentle, meditative infusion or a bold, energizing morning elixir. Tea is an extraordinarily demanding plant, and its flavor and aroma are directly shaped by the place where it grows. Climate, altitude, soil type, and humidity, all these factors play a decisive role in forming the character of the leaves. The finest teas come from tropical and subtropical regions, where temperatures are moderate and rainfall consistent. Too much heat or dryness makes the leaves tough, bitter, and lacking in fragrance. On the other hand, moderate warmth combined with high humidity encourages slow leaf growth and the accumulation of aromatic compounds, catechins, caffeine, and essential oils that give the brew its distinctive depth. Altitude makes a profound difference. Leaves harvested from higher mountain slopes grow slowly, in cooler air and under stronger sunlight, resulting in concentrated aromas and delicate flavors. In China or Sri Lanka, mountain plantations yield leaves prized for their subtlety and clarity in the cup. By contrast, teas from lower elevations, where growth is faster and the climate warmer, produce fuller, stronger, more robust brews perfect for energizing morning cups. The soil itself also shapes the tea. Leaves thrive in rich, well-drained soils, often slightly acidic and mineral-rich. The earth not only nourishes the plant but also influences the flavors. Subtle differences in mineral content translate into distinct taste notes in the finished tea. Humidity and rainfall patterns are equally critical. Tea needs moisture, but it cannot sit in water. Overly wet soil invites root rot, while too dry a climate slows leaf growth. Mountain mists, monsoon rains, and cool mornings create the perfect microclimate for slow leaf. Maturation essential for producing premium quality tea. All of these factors together make tea more than just a life. It becomes a reflection of the place where it was grown. Each cup is a map of region, climate, and soil, capturing in liquid form the entire ecosystem that nurtured it. Asterisk. Tea plantations around the world differ not just in climate and altitude, but in the very character of the leaves they produce. In Asia, the cradle of tea, leaves grow mainly on the mountain slopes of China, India, Sri Lanka, and Japan. Here, the plantations often cling to steep hillsides, where workers harvest leaves by hand. The bushes grow slowly, and the microclimate misty mornings, cool air, and steady rainfall allows the leaves to mature at a measured pace. Asian teas, especially Chinese and Japanese, carry delicate aromas, a gentle astringency, and elegant freshness, all reflecting the slow growth and careful cultivation of each leaf. In Africa, primarily in Kenya and Malawi, plantations occupy vast, often flatter lowland areas or lower mountain slopes. The climate is warmer, rainfall abundant, and leaves grow faster, producing a stronger, more robust character. African teas are often destined for large-scale production, with rich, full-bodied flavors perfect for classic breakfast blends. Large estates allow for mechanized harvesting and processing, setting them apart from the more manual, traditional methods of Asia. In South America, in countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Peru, tea grows in specific subtropical regions. These plantations blend tropical and temperate influences. Leaves here grow faster than in Asia, but more slowly than in Africa, resulting in a balanced cup, full-bodied, yet with a noticeable freshness. South American plantations often combine both mechanical and hand harvesting techniques, and the diversity of climate allows them to produce both black and green teas. Each region shapes not just flavor, but also the character of the plantation itself. In Asia, precision and tradition reign. In Africa, speed and efficiency dominate. In South America, there is a careful balance between quality and quantity. In every cup of tea, the story of the world unfolds from the misty hills of Chinese tea farms to the sun-soaked, sprawling estates of Kenya, to the gentle subtropical valleys of South America. Harvesting tea leaves is a moment that defines the quality of the cup. It's not just about plucking a leaf from the bush, it's a precise operation that blends knowledge, experience, and a keen sense of timing. Leaves are collected in two main ways: by hand or by machine. Hand-picking is a tradition that goes back thousands of years. Workers carefully select only the young buds and top leaves, which contain the most flavor and active compounds. Steep mountain slopes, uneven terrain, and rugged hillsides often make machinery impossible to use. That's why in China, Japan, and Sri Lanka, the finest teas are hand-picked, each leaf inspected individually, each bud chosen with care. It's demanding, meticulous work, requiring skill and experience. But it is this attention to detail that gives the tea its delicacy, elegance, and subtle character. Mechanical harvesting dominates large plantations, especially in Africa and South America. Machines can gather large quantities of leaves quickly, increasing efficiency, but they tend to harvest entire top shoots, including older leaves. This produces a stronger, more robust brew. Mechanical harvesting is less selective, but it meets the global demand for black teas used in blends like English breakfast or Earl Grey. Timing is equally crucial. In subtropical regions, tea bush can produce multiple harvests a year, known as flushes. The first flush, in early spring, yields the most delicate and aromatic leaves. Later flushes are stronger, more robust, often destined for industrial blends. The exact moment a leaf is picked shapes its flavor, aroma, and overall quality. Whether hand-picked or machine harvested, every leaf carries the promise of the cup to come. And once plucked, the journey continues. Processing begins, setting the stage for the final tea that will steep in your cup, ready to tell the story of its origin. Every type of tea green, black, white, oolong, pu'er comes from the same plant, Camellia sinensis. What makes them so different in your cup isn't the species itself, but the journey each leaf takes after it's picked, the path that determines its flavor, aroma, and color. Every step in processing a tea leaf is like a chapter in a story where chemistry meets tradition and nature collaborates with human hands. The first chapter is withering. Leaves are gently spread out on mats or in ventilated rooms, allowing them to lose some moisture and become pliable. This isn't random, it's the leaf's chance to rest after being picked, activating enzymes that will later shape the tea's aroma and strength. Depending on the region and type of tea, this process can take anywhere from a few minutes to several hours. In Asia, where the most delicate green teas are produced, withering is brief, preserving freshness and the leaves' bright color. In black teas from India or Kenya, leaves wither longer, slowly preparing for the next stage, oxidation. Next comes rolling or kneading. Here, the leaves are gently pressed, twisted, or rolled. This releases the leaf's natural juices and exposes them to the air. This is oxidation, a chemical reaction between the leaf's enzymes and oxygen that determines the tea's color and flavor. Intensity. Green teas undergo minimal oxidation or are quickly heat-treated, retaining their vibrant green hue and fresh vegetal aroma. Black teas are fully oxidized, leaves darken, flavors deepen, becoming robust, sometimes with subtle sweetness or caramel notes. Oolong strikes a balance, partially oxidized, capturing both delicacy and strength, with floral and lightly fruity aromas dancing together. After oxidation, the leaves are dried to halt chemical processes and lock in the aromas. Drying can be done in ovens, under the sun, or in specialized ventilated rooms. This is the stage where the tea gains longevity, the leaf becomes crisp, ready for storage and transport. It's also when the flavors settle, allowing delicate notes of flowers, fruit, or caramel to fully emerge. Finally comes sorting. Leaves are separated by size, shape, and quality. The youngest buds go into luxury teas, delivering delicacy, freshness, and complex aroma in every cup. Older, larger leaves or fragments are used in industrial blends, English breakfast, Earl Grey, or bagged teas. Sorting shapes not only the tea's quality but also its character and purpose. Each step, wilting, rolling, oxidizing, drying, and sorting, is a small story. A leaf that began as a tender bud on a Sri Lankan mountainside travels through these processes to become a brew capable of captivating the senses with aroma, color, and flavor. In every sip, tea lets us experience history, tradition, and the biology of a single leaf encapsulated in one cup. Processing tea leaves is an art where every detail matters. Even the smallest change in temperature, the time a leaf is exposed to air, or the humidity in the room can completely transform the flavor and aroma of the final brew. It's like playing a delicate instrument. The leaf responds to every movement, every touch of the hand. Let's start with green teas. After being picked, the leaves undergo a brief heat treatment, steaming or pan firing. Heat stops the enzymes responsible for oxidation, preserving the leaf's fresh, vegetal flavor. Precision is crucial. Too hot, and the leaf burns. Too cool, and the enzymes remain active, leaving the brew bitter. Humidity plays an equally important role. Dry air dehydrates the leaf too quickly, while moist conditions can allow slight fermentation, producing different aromatic notes. Black teas tell a different story. Here, leaves are laid out in thin layers and left to wither for several hours. Humidity must be carefully controlled. Air that's too dry will dehydrate the leaf too quickly. Too wet will slow the process. Next, the leaves are rolled or crushed, releasing their juices and triggering oxidation. Timing is everything. A matter of minutes can determine whether the tea is rich and sweet or overly astringent. During drying, temperatures must rise gradually. Rapid heat dries the surface too fast, leaving the interior underprocessed, which dulls the aroma. Oolong is the magic of balance. Leaves are partially oxidized, so tea masters carefully control humidity and temperature at every stage. Leaves are rolled and unrolled, heated and cooled multiple times. The result is a tea that blends floral and fruity notes with hints of caramel or honey. Even within a single batch, leaves may oxidize differently. creating a brew that is complex, layered, and full of contrast. White tea, often the most delicate, demands even greater care. Leaves and buds are only withered and dried, minimal human intervention. Temperature and humidity must be perfectly balanced, or the leaves can spoil or develop unwanted flavors. Each stage is a subtle dialogue between human and nature. The leaf communicates through scent, and the artisan responds with precision. Other fermented teas operate on an almost epic scale of time. Leaves are dried, partially oxidized, and then stored for months or even years under carefully controlled humidity and temperature. Fermentation develops deep, earthy flavors, shifting depending on where and how the tea is stored. Even small variations in storage humidity can influence which notes emerge as dominant. What may seem simple, the taste of the leaf, is actually the result of meticulous control over time. Temperature and humidity. Each leaf is like an instrument in an orchestra. Too hot, too long, too damp, and the entire symphony of flavors can be thrown off. Tea masters treat the leaf almost as a living being, one that cannot be rushed or delayed, one that must be listened to and guided through its subtle cues. The final cup is always a spectacle where nature meets human craftsmanship. The tea you sip is the culmination of countless decisions made at every stage, from the precise moment the leaf was picked to the careful drying and fermentation. It is a taste that tells the story of the leaf. The land where it grew, the air, humidity, temperature, and the patience of the hands that prepared it. Every tea leaf carries its own story before it ever reaches your cup, a story that shapes its flavor, aroma, and effect on the body. Though all teas come from the same plant, Camellia sinensis, it is the way each leaf is processed that creates a symphony of tastes and fragrances. White tea is the most delicate of all. The leaves and buds are simply picked and lightly dried, with no oxidation or heavy heating. The result is a subtle, sweet, floral infusion. It soothes, supports immunity, and preserves antioxidants in nearly their natural state. This is tea for those who appreciate subtlety. A gentle caress for the senses. Green tea undergoes a short heat treatment, steaming or pan firing, to stop the enzymes that would otherwise cause oxidation. This preserves the leaf's fresh, vegetal character. Green tea is invigorating, supports metabolism, and its flavor can range from lightly sweet to intensely grassy, depending on the region and brewing method. Golden tea, or yellow tea, is rare. Leaves are lightly oxidized and wrapped in damp cloths, giving them a soft yellow hue. The infusion is velvety, mellow, with hints of honey and fruit. It soothes the digestive system while gently stimulating the body. Oolong is a semi-fermented tea, balancing between green and black. Leaves are partially oxidized, repeatedly rolled, and gently heated. The result is a rich, floral, fruity cup, sometimes with hints of caramel or roasted seeds. Oolong supports digestion, aids metabolism, and appeals to those who crave complex flavors. Black tea is fully oxidized. The withering, rolling, and fermentation release natural sugars and aromas, producing a strong, dark infusion, often with notes of chocolate or spices. It stimulates the senses with its caffeine content, enhances focus, and supports circulation. Pure is fermented and aged. Leaves are dried, oxidized, and then stored for months or even years under carefully controlled conditions. The brew carries a deep, earthy aroma, sometimes reminiscent of wood or damp soil. Pure aids digestion, regulates fat metabolism, and may help lower cholesterol. Yerba mate, though not from the tea plant, is often enjoyed in similar ways. Leaves are dried and lightly roasted. The infusion is robust, slightly bitter, and highly stimulating due to its caffeine and theobromine content. It boosts focus and provides sustained energy without a sudden crash. Matcha is powdered green tea. Leaves are grown in shade to increase chlorophyll and amino acids, then dried and ground into a fine powder. The result is a vibrant, creamy vegetal infusion, rich in antioxidants. It stimulates and calms simultaneously, thanks to the combination of caffeine and L-theanina. Each of these teas tells a story, the story of the place it grew, the hands that harvested it, and the processes that transformed the leaf into a cup. Factors like withering time, temperature, humidity, and fermentation determine the flavor, color, and aroma. Yet all share a common trait. They influence body and mind subtly, whether to energize, calm, or support health. In every cup of tea lies the intertwined history of nature and human craftsmanship. Brewing tea is far more than simply pouring hot water over leaves. It's a ritual where every detail, water temperature, steeping time, the amount of tea used shapes the final flavor, aroma, and character of the cup. Tea is like a finely tuned instrument. It must be treated with precision to bring out its full harmony. Water temperature is one of the most crucial factors. Green and white teas are delicate. Water that's too hot can scorch the leaves, releasing bitterness and suppressing subtle aromas. For these teas, the ideal temperature is around P-175 degrees Fahrenheit, Y-80 degrees Celsius. Black teas and pu'er, on the other hand, thrive under the full force of boiling water, which unlocks their depth, richness, and body. Oolongs require a precise balance. Water too hot will destroy their floral notes, too cool, and the leaves remain muted. Steeping time is just as important. Too short, and the brew will be flat and lifeless. Too long, and it becomes bitter and harsh. That's why in the Japanese matcha ceremony, every scoop of powder, every measure of water, and every second of whisking is carefully calculated to draw out creaminess and the subtle sweetness of umami. In traditional Chinese gongfu tea, multiple short infusions allow each steep to reveal a new layer of flavor and aroma. The amount of tea leaves matters too. Too little yields a weak cup without body. Too much overwhelms, making it bitter and heavy. For a standard 7 to 8 ounces, 200 to 250 milliliters cup, 2 to 3 grams of tea is typical. Yet in ceremonial settings in China and Japan, even a single gram is treated with reverence. Crafted as a work of art. Water quality cannot be overlooked. Tea expresses its full character only when the water is clean, free of chlorine and excessive minerals. That's why professional tea houses rely on filtered or spring water. Small differences in water chemistry can completely transform the taste. Cold brewing, or cold brew tea, has grown in popularity. Leaves are steeped in cool water for several hours in the refrigerator. The result is a smooth, lightly sweet infusion with gentle acidity, almost completely free of bitterness. Cold brewing highlights aromas that hot water can sometimes mask, offering a fresh perspective on familiar leaves. Every detail of brewing shapes how the tea tells its story. Temperature, steeping time, and leaf quantity are like notes in a symphony. Alter one, and the entire experience changes. That's why seasoned tea enthusiasts pay attention to every movement. How water is poured, how the lid is lifted, how the leaves are stirred. Each gesture matters. Because tea is not only a drink for the body, it is nourishment for the senses and the mind. For centuries, tea has been more than just a beverage. Around the world, it has become a ritual, a language of culture, a way of life. In China, the birthplace of tea, the leaf has always symbolized harmony between humans and nature. There, the traditional gongfu chia ceremony is far more than steeping leaves in hot water. It is a ritual of precision and patience. Small teapots, special cups, multiple infusions, each revealing a new dimension of aroma and flavor. The Chinese believe that tea teaches calm, focus, and respect for small gestures. A meeting with the leaf becomes a meeting with oneself. In Japan, tea evolved into philosophy. The Chen-no-yu tea ceremony, centered on matcha, embodies Zen simplicity, mindfulness, and harmony. The green powder is more than a drink, it is meditation in a cup. Every movement of the tea master is deliberate, from heating the water, to whisking the matcha, to presenting it to guests. Where tea in Europe may be a casual daily beverage, in Japan, every sip is an exercise in attentiveness and presence. Matcha, creamy and intense, teaches patience and mindfulness. On the Indian subcontinent, tea took on yet another character. Masala chai, a blend of black tea, milk and spices like cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, and cloves, is both a daily ritual and a source of energy. Masala chai is sipped on streets, in homes, on trains, and at work. It's not just about flavor. It's about warmth, conversation, and community. Every family has its own recipe, its own balance of spices, making the drink almost a personal creation. Chai embodies hospitality, friendship, and the comforting rhythm of daily life. In the United Kingdom, tea became a symbol of elegance and social ritual. 5 o'clock tea represents aristocratic tradition and a moment for oneself. Silver teapots, porcelain cups, delicate biscuits all part of the experience. The British learned to brew tea strong, with or without milk, turning it into a daily pleasure, a conversation starter, and a mid-afternoon pause. Here, tea is both a cultural instrument and a symbol of calm, everyday rhythm. In the Middle East, tea takes on a sweeter, more intense character. In countries like Morocco and Turkey, strongly brewed tea with plenty of sugar and sometimes mint becomes a gesture of hospitality. Served in small glasses, often from tiered teapots, tea is not just a drink but a social ritual. Conversation, welcoming guests, gatherings with family and friends. Each sip blends taste with culture, tradition with daily life. What unites all these traditions is respect for the leaf and the process from harvest to cup. Everywhere in the world, tea has become more than a drink. It is a cultural tool, a way to build community, a form of meditation, a daily ritual. Every ceremony, every method of brewing, every blend of spices or style of serving tells the story of people, place, climate, and history. Tea is not merely a product. It is an experience that unites flavor, senses, and spirit. Tea is more than just taste and aroma. Every sip is something deeper, a blend of chemistry, biology, and subtle effects on the body. At the heart of it, the stimulant in tea isn't quite the same as in coffee. The theine in tea, chemically identical to caffeine, works differently thanks to its partnership with other compounds, L-theanine, polyphenols, and antioxidants. Together, they create a gentle, sustained, and balanced boost. You don't get the sudden jolt and shaky hands that coffee can bring. Instead, tea energizes the mind and body in a way that keeps you calm, focused, and attentive. Caffeine and theine act on the central nervous system, blocking adenosine receptors that signal drowsiness. But tea does this with finesse. L-theanine softens caffeine's edge and increases alpha brain waves, creating a state of alert relaxation. Drinking tea can serve as both a morning pick-me-up and a calming ritual during the day. Its tension and relaxation rolled into one, a magical marriage of chemistry and tradition. Some teas, particularly green and white, are rich in antioxidants, especially catechins, which protect cells from oxidative damage. This isn't just a cosmetic benefit. It supports cardiovascular health, metabolism, and brain function. Polyphenols in tea may help regulate blood pressure, aid digestion, and stabilize blood sugar, making tea a drink that promotes internal balance. Tea also affects the nervous system and emotions. Studies show that regular tea drinking can lower cortisol, the stress hormone, even in challenging situations. That's why a cup of tea can feel almost therapeutic. It calms the mind while sharpening focus. The brain feels energized but not tense. L-theanine encourages the production of dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters linked to mood and satisfaction. In practice, tea can support work, study, and even moments of emotional stress. Tea influences metabolism, too. Caffeine speeds up calorie burning, while polyphenols support fat absorption and blood sugar regulation. It's not a miracle diet, but consistent tea drinking can offer subtle benefits over weeks and months. Some research suggests that green and oolong teas can promote thermogenesis and help reduce body fat. Especially when paired with a healthy lifestyle, tea also supports immunity and has mild antibacterial properties. A warm cup soothes the throat and respiratory passages, while polyphenols inhibit the growth of certain bacteria and viruses. Black tea and pu'er can ease digestive inflammation, and regular drinking supports gut microbiota. Each type of tea delivers a unique experience. Green tea gently stimulates, white tea soothes, black tea energizes and sharpens the mind. Oolong balances relaxation with focus, and pu'er provides a slow coffee-like energy that unfolds over time. Matcha, in powdered form and rich in L-theanine, is almost a meditative awakening, long-lasting, focused and smooth, without jitters. Interestingly, tea's effects aren't just physiological, they're psychological. The ritual itself, heating water, measuring leaves, watching steam rise from the cup, soothes the senses. Aroma, flavor, and temperature combine to create an experience that the brain interprets as pleasurable, amplifying both relaxation and motivation. In short, tea is an extraordinary drink, blending the stimulating power of caffeine with the gentle calm of L-theanine, the richness of antioxidants with subtle support for metabolism and the nervous system. Each sip affects body and mind. Stimulation without chaos, calm without drowsiness, focus and relaxation all at once. This is the secret to why tea has remained beloved for millennia, and why its effects continue to fascinate scientists and ritual enthusiasts alike. Tea has long been considered more than just a beverage. Yet behind every cup lies a complex story, full of tensions and contradictions. On one hand, tea embodies thousands of years of tradition, ceremony, calm, and flavor. On the other hand, it is part of a global industry that raises ethical, environmental, and health questions at every stage from cultivation to consumption. The most obvious concern is agriculture and ecology. In Asia, Africa, and South America, tea plantations cover vast areas, often forming monocultures, entire hills blanketed with a single species of shrub. This practice depletes soil quickly and disrupts local ecosystems. To maintain high yields, growers often rely on synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. These chemicals can leach into the soil and groundwater and may even accumulate in the leaves that end up in your cup. It's not necessarily dangerous in every sip, but on a global scale, it raises questions about sustainable production. There's also a social and ethical dimension. In many regions, tea workers endure extremely difficult conditions. Low wages, lack of safety measures, and long hours of harvesting in scorching heat are everyday realities that few consider when they enjoy their morning cup. Women and children are often employed for handpicking leaves, raising concerns about human rights and social justice. While some organizations and fair trade certifications aim to regulate this, most tea on the mass market still comes from uncertain sources. Health concerns also arise around chemical additives and preservatives. Some flavored or machine-processed teas contain artificial colors, flavorings, and shelf life enhancers. For purists and health-conscious drinkers, this is a serious issue. Tea should be a natural beverage, not an industrial product full of chemicals. Even organic teas occasionally exceed pesticide limits, showing that quality control is a global challenge. Water usage in tea cultivation is another point of concern. Tea plants require large amounts of water, both for irrigation and processing. In areas where water is scarce, this can lead to conflicts with local communities and ecological degradation. This issue is particularly visible in parts of India and China, where tea plantations compete with agriculture and local populations for water resources. Global trade inequalities add another layer of complexity. Countries producing tea often receive only a fraction of the final product's value, while consumers in Europe, Japan, and the United States pay many times more. This raises questions about trade fairness, corporate monopolies, and ethical consumption. Does buying a luxury cup of tea truly support local communities, or does it mainly generate profit for middlemen? Herbal and blended teas bring yet more controversies. Many are sold with unproven health claims, marketed as detox, superfoods, or weight loss aids. This can lead to disappointment and, in some cases, health risks, especially if consumed excessively. Finally, climate change is reshaping tea cultivation. Rising temperatures, droughts, extreme rainfall, and shifting climate zones force growers to experiment with new varieties and locations. This not only affects flavor and aroma, but also creates uncertainty for millions who depend on tea for their livelihoods. In some regions, classic varieties may soon become scarce, raising questions about balancing tradition with a changing global market and climate pressures. Tea, though often associated with tranquility, ritual, and comfort, is a drink full of tension. Each cup may carry stories of labor, ecology, health, and economics. It's both fascinating and paradoxical. Something so ordinary, so everyday, can also be a mirror reflecting the future of our planet and its people. When we sip our tea, it's worth remembering that behind its aroma and taste lies a complex web of dependencies and controversies, still waiting for solutions. Tea is a beverage that not only soothes the soul but has also shaped the course of nations. Its story is intertwined with trade, politics, revolutions, and social tensions in a way few other products can match. In ancient China, tea was prized not only for its taste but also for its medicinal properties. Emperors and monks regarded it as a luxury, and the rituals of preparation became an integral part of courtly life. From there, tea culture spread across Asia, reaching Japan, where the tea ceremony emerged, a practice steeped in calm precision and mindfulness. When tea arrived in Europe in the 17th century, It quickly became a symbol of wealth and prestige. English aristocratic homes displayed fine porcelain teacups, and tea gradually made its way into everyday life. But its influence went far beyond aesthetics or flavor. Tea trade became a driving force behind colonialism. The British established plantations in India and Ceylon, imported leaves from China, and control over the tea trade became a cornerstone of economic power for the empire. Perhaps the most dramatic example is the Boston Tea Party of 1773. American colonists, protesting British monopolies and taxes on tea, dumped hundreds of chests of tea into Boston Harbor. This act of defiance was one of the first sparks leading to the American Revolution. A simple beverage had become a symbol of freedom and independence, showing how tea could ignite a movement and shape history. Tea also influenced social and economic life. In England, tea houses emerged as gathering places for merchants, artists, and politicians. In Japan, the tea ceremony fostered discipline and mindfulness. In India, masala chai developed a drink that bridged cultures and social classes. Across centuries, tea has been both a luxury and a tool for connection or protest, proving that a single leaf can leave a profound mark on the world. Tea carries a certain magic. It's not just the taste, the aroma, or the history embedded in its leaves. Some varieties can sing, not literally, of course, but as the leaves of the most delicate green and white teas steep. They rise and twirl in the water with a rhythm so graceful it looks like a dance of steam and leaf. To a trained eye, it's a spectacle, each leaf moving differently, revealing its finest fibers and releasing fragrance at just the right pace. It's a slow symphony in a cup, impossible to replicate in a laboratory. The most expensive teas in the world are legends among connoisseurs. Varieties like Yiwu or Di Hong Pao can reach hundreds of thousands of dollars per kilogram. It's not just about taste, though, that too is as subtle as the mist over a mountain plantation. It's about the age of the bush, the origin of the leaves, their rarity, and the precision of harvesting. Some teas age for decades, like fine wine. Their leaves picked by masters who can read a leaf's readiness as if it were a note in a musical score. Each cup becomes a story, a concentration of history, nature, and patience in an aroma that machines cannot reproduce. Even after harvest, tea leaves are alive. This is not a metaphor. Tiny fibers respond to humidity, temperature, and light. Depending on conditions, they release aroma differently, reacting to every swirl of water during steeping and altering the pace of oxidation. Masters of tea can sense when a leaf wakes up and gives its full flavor. Every cup is an interaction, leaf and water engaging in a dialogue that lasts only minutes, leaving behind a fleeting but unforgettable impression. Iced tea has its own story. In the 18th century, on hot market days, someone accidentally dropped tea leaves into iced or cold water. At first it was considered a mistake, yet the taste and refreshment delighted merchants and passers-by. From this happy accident arose one of the world's most popular versions of tea, a drink that, for centuries, has reminded people that nature and chance sometimes create something brilliant. Water is key to flavor. The same tea in soft mountain water might taste floral, while in hard, mineral-rich water it can taste woody and earthy. Temperature and steeping time are one thing, but the mineral content, pH, and hardness of water mean that a single leaf can offer infinite experiences. This is not lab chemistry. It's a delicate interaction of nature with nature, something humans can only learn to respect. Could tea ever disappear? While it may sound like science fiction, the threats are real. Climate change, deforestation, soil degradation, and diseases affecting the bush. Some varieties are already becoming extremely rare. Yet humanity has learned to value the rare and the extraordinary. Perhaps tea will never vanish entirely, but its availability and diversity will serve as a reminder of the delicate balance between nature and culture. Every cup is not just a taste, it's proof that patience, time, and care are essential to keeping a centuries-old tradition alive.